Hi, everybody. I'm intuitive medium Sandy Duncan, very luckily sitting here with my friends from Rescue Mediums, Michael Lamport, Edna Dargy, Jackie Dennison, and Allison Wynne-ryder. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
We're off on a roll this time. And that was a pun, Michael, for you because of the arrival for the show. I actually wrote that down so I wouldn't forget. This is what it's come to. I like every episode, but because I'm from Toronto and grew up in Toronto, this is a Toronto-based story and a Toronto-based episode. And I love when the camera work shows me something I can relate to or a place that I know. And I think, oh, I know where that is. And so it's probably great, for everyone who can identify with Toronto in this episode. So homeowners disturbed by spirits. But Edna, as we're going to see as the episode unfolds, this one takes a little turn, and every time there's something more to the story with the land or with the family, I automatically think of you putting all the information together. Can you tell us a little bit about what that was like before we get into the story?
Well, as usual, I try to get all the documentation about the area and about the family and about anyone who may have lived in their home, because I never know which direction it would take. And in this case, it was really connected with the land. And fortunately, there was a lot of information. It was easy to access. It was a good one from a research perspective.
It seemed rich that way because of the background. And Jackie and Allison, before we get to Michael and the arrival, the premonitions seemed like a different flavor this time to me, mostly because, the premonitions are always very detailed, but this time a spirit actually connected with you. I think it was Jackie outside of the drawing, and actually spoke to you, or you saw the spirit, correct?
Yeah, it was very different. You're right, because I was able to clearly see in here what that person looked like before we went. I don't know if it was a dream or when I was meditating, but I clearly saw him.
The next one I've got written down is a young man with fair hair in spirit. Now, I've actually physically seen this spirit. He's a soldier.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
so
him. Yeah.
That was him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see him really, really clearly, like the colour of his hair and his eyes. And I could it's like he was really trying to make his presence known. And that was the soldier. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was him.
Yeah, I thought that was absolutely remarkable. And then when you were putting it together, one had antlers, one had animal heads. And then very quickly we got to see those premonitions coming true.
Yes. That was very bizarre, wasn't it? Because I think, did you have antlers, Alison? And I could see animal heads.
That was exactly it. Yeah.
Starting off with antlers.
Animal heads. And you've got your antlers.
Where's my antlers?
Animals' heads.
Which actually is horrible when you think about it. Because when we were given that, we didn't know in what concept that would come in.
Yeah.
Right.
And there they were on the wall, like an actual deer's head. Oh, just horrible. I don't like that. But anyway, we were spot on. But I think the thing that was, the soldier that you drew, but the thing that was amazing was your eagle.
Oh, yes.
And it was on that little box on the dressing table.
Oh, there it is.
Yes.
It was phenomenal. That really was absolutely spot on.
Yeah, because when I drew that, I had no idea what I was drawing. I thought, is this like the American eagle or so? I didn't know what it was when I started to draw it, and I had to draw it in a circle. So it was quite bizarre. And you're right, it was. We did see it on a boat. In fact, the room that we saw it in, a lot of the premonitions came together in that room, I think, didn't they, in that bedroom?
Yeah.
I think I squealed when I saw that. Saw that.
You frightened me. You went, and I thought you'd seen spirit or something, and I went, oh, you're frightening me. And then you'd seen
dressing table.
The dressing table,
With
the mirror.
A very old dressing table.
A mirror being very significant. You just seen our
Alison!
hand.
Alison! Look!
Stop it, you're flying. It's the eagle.
It's the eagle!
The eagle engraving on the top of the box is eerily similar to Jackie's psychic drawing.
This is it. This is where we
It
are
is.
today.
And we did psychometry with it, and we started to get lots of information through that. So it was absolutely key, that was in everything, wasn't it?
And opposite that dressing table, there was a wardrobe, and I think that had a mirror on it as well. So they were almost like facing each other. It was very, very odd. It was like big clues all the way through the house, wasn't it?
It was amazing. It really was amazing. I mean, you know, the premonitions are always exciting, but this one was just absolutely one after the other, but then linking in. And those wardrobes were locked when we went in that room, and you were really pulling, I was pulling, and they were definitely locked. And then later on, when we'd connected with him, I think it was the first time we'd connected with the gentleman, the soldier, the flaming wardrobe doors were open. I mean, that was...
He's going now, he's moved, hasn't he?
Those doors
Wardrobe's open.
That wasn't open before.
My God. Do you know what? They were locked.
Yeah. And then we had a little boy, didn't we, as well, who was sent over to the light first. It was a very busy, quite emotional episode, this one, I think, for so many different reasons. It's always difficult when you're connecting with a child spirit, and obviously, well, with any stuck spirit, but particularly children, because he didn't know where he was, because he'd had scarlet fever or something, hadn't he, before he passed. So obviously the confusion there, but he was a happy little thing, singing nursery rhymes, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. He was. He was quite a sweet little thing.
Well,
but,
he was and he wasn't. Do you remember he kept pinching me and pushing me and...
Oh, yes.
Little tinker he was.
I tell you what, something that did blow me away from those premonitions, Sandy, is something that Alison got was really personal to the homeowners. It was a very personal touch. And she felt as though there'd been a road traffic accident. Do you remember, Alison?
I do.
There was a road traffic accident, and I think you said the time, it was like a 10 to 8 or 10 past 8 or something like that, was significant where the accident was concerned.
We're going to start off reading our premonitions out to you. Now then, a road traffic accident, and you've said about Suzanne, your daughter, was in the road traffic accident. And then straight after that, I got 10 past 8, the time
it occurred,
In 2006, Joe and Mary's daughter Suzanne was in an unfortunate car accident. It took Suzanne nearly a year to recover.
It was nothing to do with what we were going to find in the house. That was a very personal thing to them. So that's how
it was
spot on. I think sometimes the premonitions are.
You sometimes wonder why they give you certain things, but that could be, one of their loved ones in spirit stepping in and sort of saying, that we're glad she's all right, and then to give us that specific information, because it wasn't linked to the rescue, well, either rescue really, but like you said, it's on a personal note for them. And then of course, actually, oh my God, so our arrival was a car. And we never know what arrival it is. And then I'm in a car accident. And at the actual time, it's odd. That's only just landed in my head now.
That's a good job we weren't driving at 10 past 8, isn't it?
Yeah. Gosh, that's bizarre, isn't it? Wow.
Yeah. Oh, that car was so funny. Sorry, Sandy, go on, I've interrupted.
No, please don't let me interrupt. My question was just about the car. I was just
go on.
Michael, where did you find someone who would say, no, this is a good idea?
Well,
let's give two ladies from England this North American driving car.
Well, we didn't have an arrival method until I spoke to the homeowner, and it was his car. And we said,
that's right.
Okay, can we borrow it? And he went, yeah. And so we did borrow it, and Jackie drove it, and Alison had,
A map.
I recall, the largest map in the history of the universe.
The rescue mediums are on their way to help.
I don't think we can be far off, Jackie.
Unexplained visions may be familiar territory for the rescue mediums, but the same can't be said for these suburban streets. Jackie and Alison are renowned psychic mediums who spend their days and nights showing wayward spirits into the light. But navigation is not their forte.
That way. Down here.
Clearly, the rescue mediums have been given no prior knowledge of their destination. Even the name of this location has been kept secret until now.
And of course, the wind was coming in because it was an open car.
Yeah.
And our poor cameraman, Stefan, he was at one point on the back of the car, filming in through the roof, like holding on for dear life, because Jackie was driving around in a parking lot in circle. And it was just, I mean, it could have been a disaster waiting to happen. You know, our cameraman could have been the next spirit. But he held on and he did it. And it was fun. It was a great arrival. It was just a great arrival.
Yeah.
Was.
Beautiful.
They didn't
car.
tell me, Sandy, that was it was a treasured possession of the homeowners.
Yeah.
That there was only so many of that particular model made. They didn't tell me that until after I'd finished driving. So it's a very thing that they did.
For some reason, I'm thinking there were only 7 of those vehicles, something like that.
There was something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
This one is you had, if I recall correctly, a spirit guide or a spirit that was guiding you around the
A
house.
spirit that was
And we
guiding
didn't
us.
find out her
Yeah,
identity.
yeah, she was the wife of the soldier, wasn't she, Jackie?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Helper spirit, right? Is that the right term? I think that's what you called
Yeah,
it.
we didn't know at first whether she needed rescuing, then we realized that she was helping. She was a helper.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. She wanted to be reunited with her husband, didn't she? So she came forward with him to guide him over. It was lovely. It was. But then he kept going over the traumatic events, you know, during the war and what he saw and what he felt. And I saw this sword coming down, and it was like really.
Oh my God. She's showing me images, war images.
Alison establishes contact with the soldier spirit, who seems trapped within his violent past.
Somebody's got something in the hand. And they're banging it down. I think it's a sword.
Really dramatic and sort of really scary, you know, because what the viewers can't see is we hear the noise of it all, don't we, Jackie? And the smells,
Smell of it.
and you feel the emotions and everything. And this was like really, it was really dramatic and very, very scary as well. Yeah.
The spirit scared the homeowner, as I recall. He because he saw the spirit once at the end of his bed, and it made him very scared. And this is a pretty like straightforward guy, you know. Sort of probably wouldn't be scared of much.
Yeah,
it really frightened him.
The night that I saw what I would classify as a malevolent apparition, he was standing right there. I was petrified.
Didn't he leave home, Michael? Didn't he? Didn't his wife Mary? This was Mary and Joseph, by the way. So, you know,
I know.
Mary said, I'm sure she did, that he left home. He was that scared that he left home. He was that.
Yeah, that's right. She did say that. Yes.
Here alone, but it just didn't work. Joe had to leave the house because he kept hearing noises.
I do, definitely.
The daughter, who wasn't on the show itself, she had a lot of experiences. Seeing people in the basement, seeing a guy walking around. And Joe had said that whenever the daughter was there at the house, there was a lot more activity.
the things that I found interesting about it, as you guys all know, it's more rare than not for subjects on rescue mediums, for the males to have the psychic events happening to them. It's usually female centric, like the living human being is usually female. And it was so interesting in this one, like one of the a guy was like, okay, I woke up, I was terrified, I had to leave the house.
Yeah.
In the interview notes, I noticed that Joe, after he had left the house, because of the noises, he wouldn't go anywhere alone near the midnight hour within the house.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know that.
Oh boy.
Holy.
Gosh,
Yeah.
it really did affect him.
Yeah, incredibly strong. Well, he would have felt it extremely strong, wouldn't he, with being so psychic? And then, I don't know, maybe he didn't do grounding or any form of protection for himself. They had a sage stick hanging from a ceiling, which I thought was quite unusual, because you normally burn it, and that's where it helps to dissipate negative energy. The fire, it's the element of fire, isn't it? But
we feel the need to smudge this room, don't we?
Yeah.
Smudging involves the burning of herbs in order to banish unwanted energies. But what within this room has provoked the homeowners to take such direct action?
Yes.
Then you're trying to do everything that they could to help but of course, when there's a spirit stuck in the house, smudging it's not really going to do much, because obviously, that's why we were called in, obviously, the rescue mediums. Yeah. But it's interesting. Yeah.
When you smudge the house and the spirit's in there, the spirit just goes, "Oh, come on."
Yeah.
Turn it off.
That's right.
I'm allergic.
I remember the smudge stick hanging on a string, I think, from
that's what I was saying. Yeah, hanging from the ceiling. Yeah.
I'd be too afraid in the middle of the night it would just start doing this. Oh no. That's not a good idea. That's not a good idea. That's got
I mean, I'm with Joe there, that if that happens, that's when you leave. You just get out. It's like, okay, hasta la vista, baby.
Unless it's me and Jackie, we're not allowed to leave. We've just got to get on with it, haven't we?
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
We thought with that one that because the spirit was literally, or someone in spirit was literally pushing us around the house. Right. I think you felt it first, Alison, didn't you?
Yeah, my back being pushed
in
forward.
Your back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
What's that?
A push. Right in my back. Yes.
Pushing us this way.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And then it was like we'd go to another area and then we'd feel the push. One of us would feel that push again. It's like they were making us go to that particular area.
Feel us all being pushed.
From behind?
Yeah.
So we need to go out. They're trying to...
that's it.
Even though we were sort of seeing clues, or even like sunflowers, there were sunflowers, I think, in the basement. And
there you sunflowers.
Sunflowers.
Oh,
it was lovely.
Oh, that's really nice. Wow.
You had them in your premonitions, didn't you?
Yeah, and then you heard no, it was me that heard a female voice when we were outside. I heard a female voice, and then I think you felt as though they were pushing us inside, Alison, when we were on the outside.
Did you say something then? Did you call me name?
I didn't say a thing.
I heard somebody go, Jackie.
Right, it wasn't me. Definitely wasn't me.
It was a female voice.
Right, okay.
Jackie has felt a presence.
What's that?
The spirit beckons the rescue medium.
The guiding us then?
Yeah, definitely guiding.
that was I think that was the first connection we had with her, really, in the
Must have
outside
been.
space when you heard your name being called.
Yeah.
But
It was a bit
she was
confusing,
amazing.
really. Yeah,
Mm.
because then we didn't really encounter her all that much. It was the little boy that came forward, and
That's it.
didn't he doff his cap or something, or do a salute?
As he was going through to the light, his
Yeah.
mum came. You brought his mum forward, I think, because I was with him, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Alison connects with the child spirit's mother.
Oh, that's lovely.
Get him to go.
I can see him.
Yeah, good.
He's turned round and he's saluted us.
And as he went through, as he was going through, he turned round and held his cap out to us both, which I thought was like a really nice thing to do. So we realised at that point how much we'd helped him, I think.
Yeah, because you guided him through. And we thought that, like, oh, that was lovely. We thought that was it. And then all of a sudden,
we did.
I just saw that man stood behind you. And you almost went, I'm too frightened to turn around.
He did.
It was much. But I'll tell you what, little bugger as well, because he was pinching.
Somebody needs to be here. Oh, Alison, somebody stood right behind you.
I don't turn around. I can feel it.
Behind you, I could see him. And then you felt him. You felt his energy then. And I think that's when the wardrobe doors just opened on their own. It was really bizarre.
Has entered the room.
My ears buzzing like that. Tingling down my back. He's going now. He's moved, hasn't he?
Those doors
Wardrobe's open.
A lot of people have accused, and I always have to say this on behind the scenes here. A lot of people, skeptics, not skeptics of ghosts, but how we do the show, will say, "Oh, okay, so the producers or somebody, they set up the wardrobe to open, and they had a string." And
absolutely not.
Never, ever happens.
No, absolutely not.
The only thing that's set up is the arrival and the horrendous pun at the end. That everything else is you guys. And when doors open, whoa, they open.
Yeah. They do. I was just going to ask Eds, did we just do the 2 rescues? Or was there anything else?
No, I believe that's it. I'm just reading through all the notes from about the rescue, the transcript, to see if there was anything extra.
So you've got a call sheet, Edna?
I do for this one. Ooh. And it's the first day of the 3 days of shooting. And let's see here. It was on September 4th of 2009.
Wow.
And we actually started at 12:45. The premonitions were shot in downtown Toronto, and then by 3 o'clock, the homeowner interviews were shot, but you're not there yet. And your arrival was at 5 o'clock at the door. And at 6:30, they shot the external the walk around outside the house. Then we had an hour for dinner. And then at 8 o'clock, the first walkabout on the inside of the house was shot. And then after that, when it was dark, the crew would stay and do other shots, pick up shots. Because there's always loads and loads more details that the editors can't fit into the 22 minutes. So
like the driving lesson, which we couldn't fit in. I'm kidding, Jackie. You're a brilliant driver.
She was. It's me that needed the lesson, I think, not Jackie. She did really well. Yeah. Yeah.
Can I just ask a question? Michael, I thought you had one of the best narration lines in this, all of them are good. This one struck me. You said the soldier was trapped in his violent past when he was connecting with Jackie and Allison. I learned a lesson there, and I probably a lot of other people did too, because sometimes the assumption is, whatever kind of life people have led, when they cross over, oh, they're in a better place. They've left all this behind. Now they're at peace. Now they can do this. Now they can do that. Maybe not always the case. Obviously, it's not always the case.
Yeah, I don't know that. I think Jackie or Allison will be able to answer that better. But I guess sometimes you are trapped for a while in whatever state you've been in, because it can't just dissipate. Like when you cross over, it can't just, I don't know. I mean, can it just go like, poof, disappear? Or can you get...
It can do. Yeah, it can just disappear. But as we know through the work that we do, it can be a trigger. So one thing can trigger another thing off. So you're continually in that trauma state and reliving everything, like, could I have done something different? Or the fear factor of being in the moment at that time. And I think he didn't die during the war. He didn't die in those war conditions. But I think the horror of what he experienced at that time had left such a traumatic or had such a traumatic effect on him that he was reliving that over and over again. So some kind of trauma might have triggered that off with him. And I think because didn't he die on a ship, Edna? Did he drown?
Sorry, Mulholland. He definitely did. In 1833, he was on a ship coming from Belfast. He apparently made a few trips back and forth to Ireland. And at 5 a.m, the ship ran into a field of ice. And at 8 a.m, an iceberg struck the bow of the vessel, which sprang a leak.
Right.
And soon the boat was well underwater. Only one lifeboat was launched. Into it, 33 persons climbed with no oars or provisions.
God, it sounds like the Titanic.
It does, doesn't it?
I was thinking the same, Michael. Yeah. It's in an iceberg. Yeah.
Trauma from that. When they say, when you die, you can see all of your things going before you. He probably has got trapped in that trauma of when he actually did pass away, and thinking back to other trauma in his life that had trapped him within. So he might have been on a loop and going round and round in circles.
Yeah. Do you remember the synchronicity, the massive synchronicity with the homeowner, with the child? Because wasn't the child Joseph, and the homeowner was Joseph.
Yeah.
And the child died on the January 25th, 1987, aged 9 years of age. And that was the same day as the birthday of the homeowner, also called Joseph. How bizarre is that?
I forgot about that. Yeah.
That is mad.
So what does that date represent there? It looks like January 25th. Is that a birth
Let
date?
me have a look.
What year is it? Because
His date of death.
Because I was born on January 25th.
Oh my God.
That's Joel's birthday.
That's my birthday, yeah. So he's got the same name, and he was born on the same.
Yes, he's got the same name, and he died on
the day I was born.
Birthday.
Yes. The connections are just. Oh my God, I've got like a real shiver down my spine now. It's a child.
Yeah. It was, yeah. Oh, and he was only 9 years of age. But he was of the same family, wasn't he? Wasn't he the same family as the soldier? was his was it his
Yes,
grandson?
it's the
Yes,
same
he was.
surname, Mulholland, isn't it?
Yeah, have you got the family tree there, Edna?
Yes, I'm just
So
Yeah.
I always wonder why, with something like that, why would a spirit haunt or inhabit like a house in downtown Toronto when this is how they from
Could be many reasons.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think, Jackie.
Both
Did
of
we?
them did.
Yeah,
Both of
yeah.
them did. Because of the same family. Weren't they farmers on the land, Edna, where the house is built?
yes, I believe so. And
Yeah.
Joseph was the grandson of Henry.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Thanks, Edna. Yeah, that one.
So when he passed away, when he eventually passed away, he must have been thinking about that battle and maybe about the farm, or going back to the farmland is that's his comfort zone almost. And the same with his grandson.
And that's where they went back to, because that was what they were familiar with. Exactly. Because we don't always know, do we, Jackie? We don't always know why a spirit is haunting a particular property or land or anything. But that makes sense, so much sense with this one, doesn't it?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I keep thinking if you're trapped in something like that soldier was. And I think one of the biggest fears for people watching this show would be like, a lot of people are terrified to die. And how more terrified would you be if when you die in perpetuity, you're going to be trapped in this cycle without being able to get out of it? Like there has to be a way when you pass over to get out of an horrific cycle.
Well, I mean, some of the spirits, I mean, obviously in his case as well, the light would have come in. But for, because he's in this never ending traumatic cycle, he's not gone to the light. So, what would you say? 98.9% of people who pass over directly go to the light, don't they, Jackie?
Yeah.
But, we deal with and help the ones and the homeowners when that doesn't happen. But that absolute traumatic state where they're stuck. Yeah, stuck spirits. Yeah.
You've got to bear in mind as well that there's no time in spirit. We look at time now because we live by, what time is it? What season is it? Is it daylight? Is it nightfall? So, but in spirit, it's a different dimension. So there's no time like that. So what makes it so like hundreds of years? This guy died in 1833. And now, we're talking about him now. And when we did the rescue with him, all of those years later, well over 100 years later. So what he's not like continually like, oh, it's 100 years I've been doing this, dragging these chains for 100 years.
That's right, of course.
It's like he'll have sleep periods where he doesn't remember anything, so he wouldn't be sort of haunting all the time. Because he would have had restful periods of time. But it's a very good question, because I think we need to resolve issues while we're still here on the earth plane before we pass over. If we think positive and try to deal with any negative issues, so healing. If we need to be healed, counselling is always very good to sort out any trauma we have here before we pass over. That has to be a good thing, and of course by living, changing habits as well, changing thought patterns, how we think about things, how we view life. If we are bitter because we're hanging on to things, then that bitterness stays with us, instead of like just, I feel like bursting into song, let it go, just let it go, don't hang on to stuff that no longer serves purpose. And try to live your best life that you can, so that we've not got issues when we go over. I think Alison and I, in that particular episode, and we've done it in others as well, we bring in rainbow light. We bring in, so
I
it's all
remember
the colours
that.
of the spectrums that we bring in.
To help him.
The guiding spirit has returned, seeking to aid in the rescue.
So I've got her here, and you've got him. We have to make the healing colours come in.
Well, that's nice. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
And then get them to walk through the colours.
Okay.
The rescue mediums visualize an array of healing colors, which will help the soldier spirit pass.
Yeah. And I couldn't even have any alcohol at the end because I was driving.
That's right. I could have done, but I wasn't given any either.
You were.
Well, that's because I thought, as a producer, that one of the worst things to do in any TV show is to have two people in a car drinking booze.
Yeah,
Like, you
exactly.
can't
I'm
do
only
that.
joking. I'm joking with you.
On this investigation, the rescue mediums seem to be both shaken and stirred.
I know. Should we have a cheers?
Oh, Alison! What? We can't do this.
Why not, Jackie? It's a very dry martini. And you know why it's a dry martini, Jackie?
No, Alison. Why is it a dry martini?
Because you're going to be driving.
Have you got any more questions, Sandy, or shall we do a cheers?
Let's do a cheers. Thank you.
Cheers.
So here we are. A
Cheers.
big, massive cheers to everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers.
And thanks, Sandy.
Thanks, everybody.
If you enjoyed watching Behind the Scenes, please like, share and subscribe to veryparanormal.com, the portal for everything paranormal, where you can watch every episode of Behind the Scenes and every episode of Rescue Mediums, plus so much more. And it's absolutely free. Well, you can't get much better than that. Cheers.